Have you ever looked at a painting and wondered, is this really worth millions? Today, three shifts in the art world, from modern art to NFTs to AI-generated masterpieces, are forcing us to rethink everything we thought we knew about what makes art good, what drives its price, and even what the future of visual creativity looks like. Big questions we're facing. What exactly is good art? Can we even define objective criteria? Or is beauty forever in the eye of the beholder? Why is art so expensive? Why do people get so worked up about AI art? What is the future of visual storytelling, from film to video games? Before we zoom into NFTs and AI, let's start at the beginning. Modern art and the age-old questions of what is good art and why do people pay so much for it. This video has timestamps, so if you already know something, feel free to skip ahead. 1. How modern art divided opinion. As soon as artists began breaking away from strict realism, people started asking, but is this actually art? Some of the simplest, most minimalist modern works seem to defy any technical skill. That sparked a wave of criticism. If it looks easy to make, how could it be possibly worth so much money? Take Barnett Newman's Voice of Fire for example. In 1990, Canada's National Gallery paid $1.8 million to add it to their permanent collection. But people erupted in protest, claiming it was just 2 cans of paint, 2 rollers, and about 10 minutes. By 2014, evaluators estimated that its market value had risen past 40 million. The gap between a work's looks like 10 minutes of effort appearance and its multi-million-dollar price tag highlights a fundamental tension: price versus value. Before we go further, we need to understand this. Art value is 3D. To untangle why people pay so much for art that seems simple, we need 3 distinct lenses for judging any artwork. Market or economical value. Simply put, what did someone pay for it? This is the headline-grabbing number, 127 million, etc. But does price always reflect quality? Intrinsic or visual value. Can you sense something special just by looking at the piece, no backstory required? In other words, are there qualities you'd admire even if you didn't know who painted it or when it was painted? Contextual or historical value. Everything outside the frame. Who painted this, when, and why? What major historical events surrounded this work? Which famous collectors owned it? What controversies or discoveries shaped its reputation? In other words, the more compelling the backstory, the higher the price can climb, sometimes regardless of the painting's raw visual appeal. To recap, we judge art by how it looks, its context, and its price. Now here's the problem. Most of us would say that price should be largely dependent on how it looks and perhaps the historical background. But something else emerges: market factors. I will explain how they make art pricey, but first, let's look at the history of this equation and then clarify what good art might be. A quick history of value judgment. Before the 15th century, most art had no famous name attached. Painters worked in workshops with apprentices, and people didn't think much about who exactly made a piece. Painters were seen more like skilled tradespeople. Whether Giotto himself painted a fresco or one of his students didn't change how people viewed it. Then, in the 15th century, people began to see individual painters as creative geniuses. Suddenly, who painted something started to matter nearly as much as what it looked like. In other words, the contextual value of art didn't contribute to price until the 15th century. Even in ancient Rome, Pliny the Elder complained that some works were skyrocketing in price far beyond what they deserved, hinting that even then buyers believed that the price of art was influenced by something more than just the looks. Let's now explain what exactly we mean by visual value and then by historical value. What is intrinsic value or visual value? If we believe a painting can have a self-contained wow factor, here are 3 broad traits it should have. Fidelity or imaginative truth. It either accurately copies real life like a photo or creates its own believable look, such as unusual colors or abstract shapes that still make sense. Emotional impact. Even if a painting looks simple, if it moves you, joy, sorrow, awe, or even discomfort, it has emotional weight that goes beyond just pretty. Informational or conceptual value. Does it teach you something you didn't know? Maybe it highlights an underrepresented culture, depicts a forgotten historical event, or challenges your assumptions. Let's now look at the historical value. Once you add who and when and how it traveled the world, a different story emerges. Here are some of the main factors art historians and auction houses use to pump up or down an artwork's perceived worth. Who made it? A painting by a world-renowned artist, say Leonardo da Vinci, automatically carries mystique. Scandals, dramatic life stories, or even rumors about the artist can nudge prices higher because of that celebrity aura. Provenance, where it was seen and who owned it. Has it passed through royal families, been displayed at a major world expo? Was it lost for centuries then rediscovered? Each twist in its ownership chain can add tens of millions to the final hammer price. Expert opinion and critical reception. If top-tier curators, art historians, or star critics all pronounce it a masterpiece, buyers are more confident that their investment is sound. Historical significance. Was it painting during a pivotal moment, say a war, a revolution, a cultural milestone? Art tied to seismic historical events often feels bigger than a purely decorative piece. Who commissioned it and why? If a painting was commissioned by royalty or a wealthy patron to celebrate a landmark event, that backstory becomes part of its meat. Let's do a case study. Salvator Mundi. In 1958, it sold for just $60 because people thought it was by one of Leonardo's students. In 2011, experts confirmed it was by Leonardo himself. Then, in 2013, a billionaire bought it for $127.5 million. The painting itself stayed the same. What changed was who people believed made it, what experts said, and all the research around it. This shows how the price of a painting can rise because of something external to how the painting actually looks. We'll see that its market value can be unrelated to how it looks or who made it. Now we understand part of the answer to why some see art as pricier than it is. They don't think contextual forces, such as the painter or sensational stories surrounding the painting, are meant to influence its price. This isn't to say that all contextual factors are badly viewed. Take the example of a painter who practiced his craft during a revolution and included emotions related to it in the painting. 2. Market factors. If a painting has genuine technical brilliance and emotional messages, intrinsic value, and a rich backstory, contextual value, shouldn't its price simply reflect those combined strengths? Often yes, but sometimes the market overshoots and other times it undershoots. Why does this happen? Here are the economic forces: social signaling and status. Showing off ownership. For many collectors, owning a famous, expensive painting isn't just about enjoying it. It's a status symbol. Sharing a photo with a 5 million artwork shows off wealth and taste. Social media makes this even bigger, turning art into part of your personal brand. Herding behavior. There are 2 types of herding. Uncontrolled herding. A painting can get popular because of a wild story, like a theft or a rumor that it's haunted, and people buy it just because everyone's talking about it. And controlled herding. Auction houses create a sense of rarity. Only 3 pieces by this artist will ever be sold. They set a high bid to suggest that's the minimum worth. The excitement of a live auction, bidding wars, adrenaline, can push buyers to buy more than they planned. All of these factors can drive a painting's price far higher or sometimes lower than what looks alone or history would suggest. Here is one more way market dynamics shape art prices, this time in the digital medium. NFTs and why owning digital art is weird. You've probably heard about NFTs, those cryptic tokens selling for millions. What exactly is an NFT? It's a non-fungible token. Think of it as a digital certificate recorded on a public ledger, the blockchain. That proves this wallet owns a pointer to a digital file. It doesn't hide the art itself, anyone can still view, download, or copy the image. What you actually own is a piece of text on the blockchain saying, I'm the owner of this pointer to that particular art. So why buy one? Because owning that certificate may grant exclusive ownership perks, like special access to events, membership in a collector's club, or simply bragging rights. In that sense, an NFT is a bit like a concert ticket. You don't own the music file, but you do own a guarantee that your ticket is authentic and unique. The hidden trick, wash trading. One big reason NFT prices can soar overnight is wash trading, also called artificial volume inflation. Here's how it works. A person or bot uses multiple wallets they control. Wallet A sells the NFT to Wallet B for a huge price. Then Wallet B resells it back to Wallet A. On the blockchain, it looks like two different people paid top dollar. Buyers see that huge sale and think there's crazy demand, so they jump in at high prices. This scam creates the illusion of popularity, but no real new buyers exist. It's basically pretending to have a crowd of customers when you're the only one in the store. Always ask who's actually paying real money before trusting an NFT hype. Let's do a wrap up. By now, it should be clear that value is multidimensional. A work's price tag is not a straightforward reflection of how much invisible labor went into its creation or how deeply it resonates emotionally. Instead, it's a cocktail of intrinsic qualities, craftsmanship, emotion, intellectual depth, contextual lore, artist reputation, provenance, or historical significance, and social and market forces, status signaling or auction psychology. So now, if you've ever wondered why a canvas of 3 stripes can cost more than your house, you know it's never just about what you see, it's about everything else swirling all around the canvas. Next up, learn why AI art sparks controversy and how AI will power the games, films, and virtual worlds of tomorrow. Don't miss it.